Welcome Weebs to a video about anime, like all my videos. Today I'll be discussing two anime that are somewhat similar, working out which of the two is superior, featuring the characters, the story, animation, fights and total engagement while watching. The two anime include Kengan Ashura and Baki. I'll only be discussing the Netflix adaptation, meaning no comparison of the mangas or taking into account the older Baki series will be discussed. Okay, let's go! Kengan has a much better and superior female cast. The female cast in Baki isn't really existing. There's maybe one character, which is Baki's girlfriend, and she doesn't really do anything. In Kengan, the female cast has roles, there's female fighters, there's a lot more female cast. Kengan doesn't compare in fighters, or to the amount of fighters, as in Baki about 80% of the characters you see are in fact fighters, with Kengan being around 40 to 50%. I prefer Kengan this way because it gives room for other roles, and not just, oh, everyone you see is going to be a fighter, going to fight someone at some point. Baki has better fighters though. They are more interesting and have been developed and had their moments to shine, much more than in Kengan. Most of the fighters in Kengan, they either lose their battle and you don't see them again. There's a select few that you do see again, but they're like major characters. But like just the random people you see, or not random, just a fighter you see, they lose a fight, they're pretty much gone. You're not going to see them again for the rest of the series, or you're not going to see a major fight with them again done. Unlike in Baki with the prisoners, they have multiple fights until they're finally taken out. Many fights. That's kind of good about that. But while saying that, there is 24 episodes of Baki with only 12 for Kengan at this minute. There's still much more to come from the manga into the anime. Kengan also has comedy based characters unlike Baki, which is a good touch to certain moments where it's not this constant fighting. Each character in both have their own unique style of fighting, so each new character you see who's a fighter, they'll fight in their own unique style, unique martial arts. The two protagonists are very similar, to be honest. They both have a goal, or not a goal really, but they both fight for a specific reason, and they just give off a similar type of vibe, just chillaxed. Baki's more like against fighting, while the main character of Kengan is all about fighting. That's what he lives for. The main antagonist hasn't been really revealed in Kengan Ashura. When Baki, it could be a number of people. But for the main like hype character, Baki clearly has the advantage for Baki's dad, who's just an absolute powerhouse. Every time he's on screen, it's just greatness. When Kengan doesn't really have that as much, has a main character, but that's about it. Now, onto the story. As a whole, Kengan is just more interesting, like, honestly. Baki, it's the same shit. Oh yeah, gotta have this prisoner guy's gonna come in, gonna fight someone, he's either gonna win or lose. Simple as that. Kengan is similar, but like there's story behind it. These characters are fighting not just because they want to fight. Oh yeah, I'm gonna fight. I'm a prisoner. Oh, I'm gonna face defeat. I need to face defeat, so I'm gonna fight the strongest people in the world. That's Baki pretty much. And everyone else is gonna fight back. Kengan is more like, oh, you're gonna fight for me, so I can become the richest person in the world. I know you like fighting, so why don't you fight for me, so you can fight other people who like fighting to see yourself as the strongest. There's more story behind it. More people are affected by the fights. It's not just a one-on-one, oh, I want to face defeat, I'm not going to let you win. It's not a back and forth like that. It's, oh, I'm going to pay you, not pay you, I'm going to make you fight for me, and you're going to fight for me so I can get all this money. And while you enjoy fighting, you can do this for me. And there's like many characters being affected by every fight. There's different aspects added to it, such as the comedy in Kengan. The comedy is pretty good. It's not like, oh, I'm going to start laughing my mind off, but it's good to watch. It's a good balance between straight up intense fights to the like boring-ish stuff, the like political part of it, and then this bit of comedy in there balances it all out nice and good. Baki has very high intense characters, and when they're on screen it's like greatest, such as Baki's father. Kengan doesn't really have that at this point. Saying this, like I said earlier, there is 24 episodes of Baki, so there's more room to showcase different characters. And Kengan, for the first season, it ended in the middle of a tournament. This tournament is pretty much the major part of the story, and it ended after the first round. One round has gone past. And same with Baki, a big tournament was about to start for Baki, but before that, we got a lot of stuff with most characters. Not most characters, the main characters that we're going to see again, and the ones from that story arc are pretty much gone. And we're going to see a bunch of new ones, but at this moment, Kengan, we haven't seen really any characters or major story-based characters. But as a whole, when it comes to the story, I think Kengan has it on top. Baki has a lot of boring moments in between. The fights are great, but everything else, not so much. There's long explanations of the techniques that drag out way too long than what they need to. There is explanations in Kengan, but they're not as long, and I don't mind watching them. It's just decent. It's like, oh yeah, tell me that, cool. That's what he's been doing. He's a police officer, so he's good at using his left arm as his defense, stuff like that. And then with Baki, this drags out 20 minutes of explanation how this guy was this famous Chinese martial artist and a whole lot of bullshit. Who cares? Kengan has a top of that, and yeah, that's pretty good. Now moving on to animation. So these two are not animated the same way at all, not even close. Kengan is a full CGI, and I don't mind watching full CGI anime. I haven't watched many. Most of them are on Netflix. I don't know why Netflix likes having Netflix original CGI. As a whole, with the anime community, I think they prefer 2D animation. CGI wasn't that bad, especially in Kengan. They did pretty well. One issue I had with it at moments when characters were talking, their mouths weren't moving. They just weren't. They were just still. And a few times I saw that, yeah, it's not good. But the fights, CGI fights were good. Everything else was alright. But Baki had good animation, and in my opinion, CGI versus 2D animation, or good, well done 2D animation always wins, like every time. Baki's animation clearly is far superior than Kengan, so that's something for Baki to have. When it comes down to the fights, they're both different in the way. In the Kengan, you kind of have an idea what's going to happen. These two are going to fight each other, and whoever wins pretty much. In Baki, there's a bit more mystery behind it, because in the first part of Baki, it's prisoners. They don't have a specific martial arts fighting. It's more street fighting in Baki. While in Kengan, it's pretty organized. They have a specific martial arts. They may use more than one, but it's pretty much it's set in stone what they can and can't do. When Baki, they can do anything. They can pull out their fingers, start stabbing each other. Oh, that happens in Kengan, but like, they can have like weapons. Some guy like had a grenade down his throat and like coughed it back out, like stuff like that, some crazy shit like that. There's a lot more, like, it's just Baki street fighting in most cases, while Kengan is more organized. You're gonna fight him, and it's not always like that, but majority of fights, especially in the tournament, which makes up about half of the first season, it's like, oh yeah, you're gonna fight him, there's a judge, 3, 2, 1, go, along those lines. For engagement as a whole, I think Kengan is better to Baki in this, purely on the Baki's boring moments that you do not care anything about. There's a lot of it as well. There's just parts, even half episode long parts, it's just, oh yeah, okay, no one cares, yep, okay. When's a fight gonna happen? When's something important's gonna happen? No, it doesn't happen. When Kengan jumps around a lot, or like, not jumps around, time skips a lot, showing mainly only the important parts and the interesting parts. It doesn't take too long to explain martial arts, as mentioned earlier. Baki has an issue with that. It could be just that 24 episodes of Baki compared to 12, it feels like Baki drags out more. But I still think in general, Kengan's pace is far superior, leading to better engagement. And yep, overall I think Kengan has... I enjoyed watching Kengan more. resulting in more engagement. Now overall, time to give them a rating. I'll probably give Kengan maybe a 7 to 7.5. Give it a 7.5 out of 10. Wasn't the greatest anime I've seen, still pretty good. I don't typically see like pure fighting based anime as the top, but this was pretty good. With Baki, I'll probably give a 7, maybe 6.5. Probably stay up for 7. Baki, just the boring moments in it just kill it. If it jumped around more or like didn't have these long, boring expositions, would have been much better. And Kengan just pushes above. If Kengan was 2D animation as well done as Baki, probably would have gone to an even 8 or 8.5. But just that full CGI, it's not trash like Berserk 2016 CGI, but still it's not, I don't mind it, I'll watch it, but I'll prefer 2D regular animation over it any day. That's it guys, hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the month. New video in a few days. If you liked, enjoy. Any comments or any questions you have about this video, leave them down below, and peace.